All right, this week we're going to look at something that's a little difficult to explain sometimes. Okay, so we're going to try to walk through here our eye progressions, what we look at each position, what we look at from one step of the play to the next, to the next, to the next. Okay, so this is our eye discipline and our eye progressions. All right, so we have pre snap to live ball to dead ball. Sometimes within those three parts, pre-snap, live ball, dead ball, our eyes have to change locations. We're talking about this because we see a lot on film where we miss a lot of fouls. And trying to look at brim of your hat and where people are looking, it doesn't appear that we're always looking in the right place. And we're often seem more concerned with the football, where it is, where it's located, and than we are where the blockers are, where the defended receivers are. So we're going to look at this play. I just picked this play out of random. There's no fouls on this play, nothing missed on this play. So just a play that we had a good view of and thought we'd look at it. So let's start pre-snap, okay? So pre-snap, we used to call them our keys. Now they're our initial responsibilities. We changed the name because we want to get away from the idea that that is the only player you watch throughout a play. That is where your eyes begin, but probably not where they're going to end. So let's go down through here and let's just talk about who has who. All right, so the referee, backside tackle, the backs, umpire, remaining four linemen, field judge, outside receiver, side judge, outside receiver. All right, now let's talk about strong side, weak side stuff. So our back judge has got to determine our strong side. So our rules are most eligible receivers outside the tackles, what we're going to have here. If that's a tie, we're always going to go to the press box side. We took out of our mechanics manual a couple of years ago, we took out wide side of the field and things like that. So it's most eligible receivers outside the tackles or the press box. Okay, so in this particular play, we have one receiver on this side and two on this side. So this is our strong side. So here's our back judge's initial responsibility. All right, so what do we do with our short wings? So our short wing is going to take the second player. That's going to be this H back right here. And our head linesman is going to have this running back in the backfield. So those are our initial responsibilities. That's where we're going to start with on our eyes. Now, there's some confusion here. Short wings get confused. They hear people talk about snap, tackle, key, and they think tackle is their key. No, tackle is a read for run or pass. Okay, that's not your initial responsibility, not your key. I've heard short wings get confused about motion man. So if the motion man goes away from you, you're responsible for him. Well, what does that mean? That means you're responsible for whether his motion is legal pre-snap. That doesn't make him your key. That's a pre-snap. Is his motion legal? That's a read more than a key. Okay. So those are our initial responsibilities. All right. So when the balls snap, we're going to take them one at a time. Okay. When the balls snap, we're going to see where our eyes should go. So let's start with the referee. So he's going to start with his eyes on looking through these backs to that left tackle at the snap. Okay, that's where he's going to start. All right. First thing that happens is we get a faked handoff. So initially, okay, we should be thinking run to the left. All right. So I'm going to be really interested in this left tackle's block because at the first couple of steps, I think we're running left. What happens, though, is we realize, oh, wait a minute, he faked the handoff. Now we're running right. So here's where we talk about progressions. Now our eyes progress from the left tackle down the line of scrimmage to the right tackle. Now we've got to get out here and find the lead block. All right, we'll talk about who's watching the left tackle again in just a minute because we got two different sets of eyes that are going to leave him, but we've got one that's going to pick him up in a minute. So we're going to transition our eyes over here to the right tackle. Takes a couple of more steps. We realize this is not a run, this is a pass, and my quarterback is maybe in jeopardy right here. So now my eyes come back from the right tackle. They've got to come back to the quarterback. And now we have to protect the quarterback. Okay? That's our live ball progression. So our pre-snap was the left tackle in the backs. Our live ball progression for the referee went left tackle to right tackle to quarterback. Where we're going to go dead ball. Dead ball, we need to glance back into here. Whether this ends up caught, incomplete, in of bounds, out of bounds, DPI, OPI, whatever happens over here, doesn't matter. So at this point, our eyes need to check back. Now we're backside officiating. We're looking for the cheap shots. We're not going to come back over here and have a incidental face mask or a grab and restrict. We're looking back over here for personal fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct. Okay, so our eyes go there. So we have pre-snap, live ball, then where do we go? Dead ball. All right. Let's do the umpire. Umpire started off with these 4 linemen: guard, center, guard, tackle. Okay. At the snap, all right, umpires have the most bodies to look at. Now, the bodies are in a fairly tighter space, but they have the most blocks to officiate at once. They often have to see multiple blocks taking place at the same time. Sometimes that happens to other officials, and most of the time it doesn't. So the umpires have an interesting task in here. It's a little different, all right? So they've got to look at all 4 of these players. Now, not everybody's contacting somebody. So the left guard, not doing a whole lot, okay? Center looks pretty good. All right, what about that right tackle? So how do we feel that we need to transition a little bit over there? So we're looking at the blocks, but we're feeling where the ball goes. It's more of a sensing the ball than looking at the ball. So we don't ball watch, but yet we still have to have a sense of where the ball is headed. So when the play heads to the right of the screen, our instinct should tell us to start checking blocks here. All right, we want our eyes to start here and move this way, but we're looking at blocks. We're not looking at the ball. What are these blockers doing? Okay, what are they doing? All right, as the play continues to progress, we don't see it, but we sense it that he's thrown the ball. Okay, at that point, he's throwing it over here. Umpire has nothing to do with over here. The umpire now comes back, and now we're cleaning this up. Now we're backside officiating. The ball's gone. Okay, we're not going to throw a grab and restrict hold here. We're not going to worry about little things. We're looking for cheap shots and unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, once we clean that up, then we'll head up to respot the ball. But we got to clean players before we go spot the ball. All right, let's take the back judge next. So the back judge had an initial responsibility of this slot receiver. All right, now he's not pressed at the moment. Okay, so we're going to anticipate that we might find some other work to do once the ball's snapped. But if we watch this play, this cushion immediately goes away. It's a bit of a disguise. That defender is going to move toward him at the snap. So we're about to have some action right here that we didn't, maybe our pre-snap read may not have anticipated that. But we're going to stay on him for a split second there, and then we'll catch that, and we'll see that here he comes. All right, so we're going to have something happen at the top of this route that we're going to need an opinion on. So our back judge's eyes have been here. He stayed here from the start. Sometimes your initial responsibility remains your responsibility throughout the play, and that's fine. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So his eyes are right here so that he can give us an opinion on that contact. All right, now that's legal contact, but we need an opinion on it. This is one of those plays that after the play, the back judge should be able to tell us what happened to that receiver and why he didn't throw on it. So the reasons you don't throw on it is he didn't grab him, so it's not holding. He did hit him, but he's a potential blocker, so he can contact him like that at the top of the route. Okay, that's legal. All right, ball's not in the air. It's not pass interference. Okay, he can take that little shot right there. Okay, all right, now. So we're going to give him that, and then we're going to keep our eyes on him, okay? All right, now the ball's thrown, okay? Now the back judge at this point is not going to have any interest in whether he makes or doesn't make this catch. That's not in your zone anymore, okay? Obviously, inbounds, out of bounds, not your call. So where do we go from here? We're approaching dead ball here. So when the ball becomes dead right now, okay, we need to recognize something. We have a play into the boundary, into the sideline. So we need to know, and this is the importance of understanding our crew members' mechanics, not just our mechanics, but what my partner's mechanics is. So we know that the the side judge here is going to be headed down into this sideline to get these players out. That leaves these players unattended. So we need to be aware of that. So the back judge now, once the ball has been thrown here, and we're not going to be responsible for catch, no catch, inbounds, out of bounds, come back here. Now we're going to dead ball officiate those players right there. No cheap shots, no unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, let's talk about the deep wings. We're going to save short wings for last for no particular reason, but let's go the deep wings. So let's take the field judge. All right, his initial responsibility at the snap. It's going to crumb in, okay? Keep your eye on him, right? There could be things happen here. That right there, when he reaches the same level as that defender right there, there could be a hold. There could be illegal contact, illegal use of hands. There could be a hold right there. We need to know about it. Okay, is it or is it not? There is some contact right there. We need an opinion on that. So we need to recognize that that's incidental contact. This guy was basically blocked into him or just backed into him incidentally, had no idea he was there. It's not a foul. Okay. All right. So we need an opinion on that. All right. A lot of things could potentially happen here. Here comes another defender right here. What if he comes up and knocks him off this route? This backside receiver could easily had been the intended receiver on this play. So we got to have an opinion on it. So we're going to stay on him all the way to dead ball. Okay. Now, ball's thrown, ball's dead. Okay. Now, our eyes widen up. Our whole vision widens up. Okay. We're checking all these players. Personal fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct. Check them all. Let's go to our side judge. Started out with initial responsibility of the outermost receiver, receiver number 1, right here. What's he doing at the snap? Coming right at me, okay? Got to back, got to get back. This may very well be a deep pass down the sideline. I got to get deep, okay? Got to get deep. All right? Then I realize it's not, okay? Now he throws it short, coming back. So my eyes have transitioned from him to now realize, oh, he's throwing it to the underneath receiver. So now my eyes turn here. So I started off on my initial responsibility. As the play progressed, I found some other work here. So I'm a little far off because my keys sent me deep. He pushed me down the field. So I may not be much help on inbounds, out of bounds, catch, no catch here, but I'm still going to follow this receiver into the sideline. And then my dead ball responsibility is to go get him out of there. All right, so again, I started on initial responsibility, stayed on it for most of the play, transitioned to a different player near the end of the play, and then stayed on that player through the dead ball period. Come getting him out. All right. Short wings. Here we go. Let's start with our line judge on this side. So the line judge here started with this H-back or fullback, whatever you want to call him, is their initial responsibility. Well, at the snap, they disappear. They're gone. Okay, so he took 2 steps, and we realized that we're not officiating him on this play. All right, so where do our eyes go next? They started with our H-back, and he's gone. They're going to come right back here to this tackle. So a minute ago, we talked about how the referee would be transitioning off the left tackle to the right tackle, how the umpire would need to start, his eyes would need to go away from that left tackle. So what happens if the left tackle just throws this guy on the ground? What if he blocks him low? What if he grabs his face mask? How are we going to know? Backside short wings, got to look at him right there. His wing disappeared. His key initial responsibility disappeared. His eyes went right to the next action. Okay. Now, he's going to watch him there for a moment, and then we're going to see that we have a crosser, okay? Anytime we get a short crossing route as a short wing, we need an opinion on that. There's about a 5-yard band right there that we need to know about what happens to these receivers when they run through that band. So just like the field judge has an opinion on potential contact that's about to happen, maybe about to happen right here, short wing can have an opinion on that too. Sometimes, just like the umpire, sometimes you have to look at two things at once, just a little bit, so we can watch that tackle and we can see this too. That's why we're lined up off the field. That's why we keep distance, so it widens our vision. All right, so we see him crossing. We need to know that's not a foul. We need to know that nobody else comes up and takes him out, knocks him off that route. Nobody grabbed him. Nobody held him. Nobody hit him below the waist. None of those things happen. Or he didn't do that to anybody either. We got to have an opinion on all of that. All right, last one, head linesman. Oh, I forgot my short wing over here's dead ball responsibility. So let's go back to the line judge. So he's gone from initial responsibility to tackle, to crossing receiver and tackle, balls thrown, balls caught, balls out of bounds, okay? As you move to mirror that spot, okay, or maybe, this gets high level here now, we may have cross-field mechanics. You may have a better view of that spot than your partner does, okay? That gets pretty high level, but it can be done if we work at it, all right? But as we're moving up to mirror that spot, we are also, like everyone else, our eyes are widening out and we're checking all of this. Checking all this for the late hits, personal fouls, and unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, last but not least, we got a head linesman over here. Head linesman started off with initial responsibility of this running back who immediately at the snap steps away from us. So he's not out. We're not worried about him anymore. Okay. First step he takes means I'm done with him. All right. My eyes are going to come back and find somebody who's playing football. It's going to be this right tackle. Okay. So my eyes are going to go from the running back to the right tackle. Okay. I'm going to watch them. And then I'm going to realize that there is somebody fixing to run a route in the flats right in front of me. So we're going to go from him. Now, all of a sudden, we have a receiver coming right at us, okay, in our zone, fixing to be possibly contacted. So we have to be ready for this. We have to be ready for whatever may happen here. Can he contact him? Yes. Can he grab him and tackle him, hold him? No. We have to know this, right? We have to see it, see what happens to him. Nothing happened to him. That's fine. All right. So he's still coming. Our eyes are they went from running back to tackle to receiver, who is now out in the open field, okay? So now my eyes are going to widen out a little bit, and I'm going to sense that the quarterback's throwing the ball to him. I'm going to get a sense of that, okay? I can tell he's not throwing it to him because his head's turned on me. That he's probably the one that's going to guide me to the ball. His head will probably turn sharp right to sharp left, and that's going to tell me the ball's coming here. So now the eyes turn here. Now I've got catch, no catch, inbounds, out of bounds, and I probably have it by myself. I'm going to anticipate having it by myself. I'm not going to be aware, but you never know when your deep wing has been pushed way down the field by the route, okay? So anticipate being by yourself here with a catch, no catch, inbounds, out of bounds. So there it is, catch, no catch, inbounds, out of bounds, all good. Come up, kill the clock, facing out of bounds. Get everybody out of the sideline. All right, so to recap that, okay, I was going to do a punt play also, but I don't think we have time. I think I'll save it till next week. We have to know where the ball is, don't get me wrong, but we don't ball watch, okay? We sense the ball. We feel where it is. It's in our peripheral vision, but our eyes have to be focused on lead blockers, defended receivers. If we're play side, we got to find lead blockers and defended receivers. If we are backside, we need to find people who are playing football, okay? We don't They don't officiate grass, as we say. We need to officiate players. So our eyes have to progress. As the play progresses, our eyes progress. Pre-snap, live ball, which can have multiple progressions, to dead ball. All right. Don't be in a hurry to go get the football until the players have cleared out. Don't be in a hurry to get the ball down until we've cleared the players. If you have a foul, all right, continue to officiate. That includes continue to dead ball officiate. Don't break and run to the referee when the whistle blows. Clear the players. Make sure we're good. Use your radio to report the foul. You don't have to run down the field to the referee to report a foul. You can give a preliminary signal and then use your radio. All right. That's it for this week. Thank y'all.